Well, the Prime Minister of Georgia, Irakli Garibashvili, is with me now. Welcome to World News Today.
Thank you.
South Ossetia, is it your fear that it could go the way of Crimea and be absorbed by the Russian Federation?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Let me describe the situation. Well, the situation in South Ossetia and in Abkhazia is absolutely different. When people compare the existing situation of Abkhazia and South Ossetia to Crimea, I think it's a big mistake. These two de facto, I would say, so-called states want to gain the independence, right? And Russia recognized the independence of these two de facto governments or states in 2008 after the war. And since then, there was no progress. There has been no progress in that direction because these two territories have been part of Georgia since the existence of our country. And therefore, according to my knowledge and according to our analysis, Russia is not interested in annexing these two de facto territories, I mean, to de facto government.
Well, let's look at Russia's interests and Moscow's interests, because there has been a warning, hasn't there, from the Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, that if you sign the European Association Agreement, which you intend to do later this month, there will be serious consequences. What do you read that to mean?
Well, first of all, when we came into power after the parliamentary election in 2012, we entirely changed our attitude towards Russia. As far as you know, the previous administration of Saakashvili had a different approach towards Russia because they had a very radical policy. And we made a number of constructive steps in order to de-escalate the tension, and we did quite well. We appointed Prime Minister Special Envoy, Special Representative for Russian Relations, who was working with his counterpart, Deputy Foreign Minister. And we made a lot of progress, I would say, in terms of transport, communication, trade, and Russia opened the market gradually for Georgian products, for Georgian wine and mineral water. And just recently, 2 weeks ago, they opened a market for agricultural products. Well, I think we proved that we would like to normalize the relationship with Russian Federation. And just a month ago, the official person, I mean the Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia made a public statement that Russia does not intend to interfere with Georgia's European Association Agreement.
So do you think, in a way, you can succeed where Ukraine failed in signing an association agreement with the European Union while maintaining strong and developing relations with Moscow?
Well, I think Georgia,
yeah,
I think our way, I mean, the Georgian way is quite unique because on the one hand, we're moving toward the European Union, and we made it very clear when we initialed the association agreement last November in Vilnius that this process became irreversible. And at the same time, we're trying to normalize the relationship with Russia. And I think we're creating a very interesting precedent, an example in the region, so that, on the one hand, we would like to become part of European Union, and we're going to sign the European Association Agreement this June, by the end of June, on 27th. And at the same time, we are normalizing the relationship with Russia. So I think we found that a perfect balance, if we can.
So you might be setting a precedent where states like Moldova, smaller states, and larger states like Ukraine could follow in being able to face East and West at the same time. You seem pretty confident about that.
I'm pretty confident that so far we don't see any sign.
And what about Georgia and NATO? Because that was one of the problems that led to that war a few years ago, wasn't it? Georgia's declared intent to join NATO. Would that be a step too far?
Well, we made it very clear that Georgia's aspiration to become a member of European Union and member of NATO is an irreversible process. Of course, we're not that naive that we understand that it takes time, but I think Georgia made a tremendous progress. Everybody says, all NATO member states say that Georgia made a very obvious progress. We had free and fair parliamentary and presidential elections in 2012, the parliamentary elections, and last year we had really unprecedented free and fair presidential elections. And as far as you know, Georgia still remains the largest non-member state, non-NATO member state contributed to Afghanistan, to the ISAF mission. And we're committed to stay there beyond 2014 after the for the UNRF. I mean, we're going to participate in the UNRF NATO response force.
And at a point where the US has made clear to states such as Poland and the Baltic republics that it has their interests at heart and it doesn't want to see any further Russian expansionism, do you feel that you are equally close to Washington? How would you characterize your relationship with the Obama administration?
Well, you mean the Georgia US administration? Okay. Well, I had a very successful trip in Washington several months ago. I had a meeting with President Obama and Vice President, and I met with Secretary Kerry, and we have excellent relationship with the United States, because the United States is our main partner, is our strategic partner, and we maintain these very close ties with the United States. But I think you know, our aspiration to become a member of the European Union doesn't conflict with our you know, goodwill to normalize relationship with Russia. And I think, you know, peaceful and stable Georgia means peaceful and stable in a region, because Georgia has a very unique and very important strategic location, geostrategic location. And I think everybody should be interested in having peace and stability in that region.
Prime Minister, thanks so much for coming to speak with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.